evening, and we are so blessed. Many different ways. Just again, want to say thank you to our congregation, to Jason for, like was mentioned this morning, for our youth rally. Great lessons, and again, everybody always comes together and helps. So just very thankful for that. And I think everybody, all the kiddos, and everybody had a really good time. So tonight, for a few moments, I would like to talk a little bit about, again, God's providence. I've titled this lesson When Everything Works Together. Have you ever been in the middle of something so hard, so confusing, so painful that you couldn't imagine how anything good could possibly come from it? Maybe it was a loss, a broken relationship, maybe a door that slammed shut right when you thought things were finally going your way. Maybe it's something you're walking through right now, today, in this very room. We've all been there, and in those moments, one of the most powerful verses in all of Scripture speaks directly to us. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. We have four phrases and one promise here. And today I want to show you why you can count on every single word of that verse. It is an anchor for your soul. Tonight, I would like to talk about 4 points of this verse. Notice how Paul begins not we hope, not we think, not maybe, even if things go our way. He says, we know. Those two words, we know, are full of confidence. Paul is not guessing. He knows it is true, and he wants us to know it too. Here's what makes it remarkable and amazing. Paul wrote these words while he was somewhere off in a beach having a good time. No, he was suffering. He had been beaten, imprisoned, shipwrecked, and left for dead. He wasn't writing from the comfort of his home and everything going his way. He was writing from a place of real pain, and still he said, we know. How could he be so sure? Because his confidence wasn't based on his circumstances, it was based on the character of God. When we think about who God is, he knows everything. He sees the beginning and the end at the same time. Nothing catches him off guard. It's found in Isaiah 46. He has all the power. He can do exactly what he promises. Nothing is too hard for him. Jeremiah 32:17. He is faithful. In all of human history, he has never broken a single promise, and he never will. Our feelings are not the final word. We know, based on who God is, that he has not abandoned us, and this is not the end of our story. Point number two, for those who love God. Now, this promise does come with a condition, and it's important we don't skip past it. For those who love God. This isn't a blanket promise for everyone on earth, it's a promise for those who are in a living, breathing relationship with God. And that's not meant to make anyone feel excluded. It's actually an invitation to come to God. Think of it this way: a parent makes promises to their own children in a way they don't make to every child on the street. That's not cruelty, that's relationship. That's love, and God is saying, if you are mine, if you love me and walk with me, this promise is yours. And what does it mean to love God? Jesus answered this very clearly. If you love me, keep my commandments. In John 14:15. Love isn't just a warm feeling, it's a direction your life is pointed. It's waking up and choosing to trust him, obey him, seek him, even on the hard days. Point number three, work together. This is the heart of the whole verse. All things work together for good. God is not promising that every single thing that happens to you will feel good. He is promising something better, that He is taking everything, the painful things, the confusing things, the things that make no sense at all, and putting them together for a purpose. Now, let me show you what this looks like. Joseph, we all know the story. Sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison, forgotten. Every single chapter of his life looked like a disaster. Not one of those things standing alone was good, but God was bringing it all together. Slavery got him to Egypt. Prison got him in front of Pharaoh's servants. That connection led to interpreting Pharaoh's dream. That dream elevated him to the second in command in Egypt. That position allowed him to save thousands of lives. Like it says in Genesis 50:20, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Joseph never knew what God was doing while it was happening. Sitting in that prison, he had no idea how the story would end. He just had to trust God one day at a time, just like we do. An example of today, a man loses his job after 15 years. He has a family to feed and no plan. He felt like God had forgotten him completely. But 6 months later, he ended up in a new job, one he never would have found if he had stayed at the old one. A job he was made for, a job where he could help people in ways he never could before. He said later that losing that job was the best thing that ever happened to him. At that time, it felt like the end, but in God's hands, it was just the beginning. The last point I'd like to make today is for good. Now, we have to be honest about this last phrase because it is most misunderstood. When God says for good, He does not mean for comfortable, He does not mean for easy, He does not mean you'll get the job, the healing, the outcome you prayed for. Look at the very next verse in Romans 8:29 defines what the good is, being conformed to the image of His Son. The ultimate good God is working toward in your life is making you more like Jesus. And sometimes the tools He uses for that are hard ones. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1, 2, and 3. Paul himself had a thorn in the flesh, some kind of suffering he begged God 3 times to remove, and God said no. Not because he didn't love Paul, but because his power is made perfect in weakness. Paul's suffering staying was the good because it kept him dependent on God. God's idea of good is not always what we would pick for ourselves, but it's always better than anything we could have planned. It is always pointing towards eternity, and it is always held in the hands of a God who loves you more than you will ever know. Whatever you're going through right now, whatever in your life feels broken or makes no sense, it is not outside of God's hands. He sees it, He knows it, and He is working it all together for a good that is coming, even if we cannot see it yet. We know not because life is easy, but because God is faithful. If you have the need of the prayers from the congregation or you need to put on Christ tonight, please come forward while we stand and sing the invitation song.